All right, today we are watching a program called Army Ants, a study in social behavior. This was almost a yellow one, but Army Ants made me categorize it as a green. So here we are. This is by the Encyclopedia Britannica Educational Corporation. I'm pretty sure we're all familiar with them at this point, and the publication date 1968. So this should be in color, hopefully. I've been watching a lot of black and white stuff lately, so I'm hoping this is in color for us all, really. But I think that's it. That's really all there is to say. So let's dive in. Dude, it's the same exact biology program that we've been learning for like the past few months now. Like, I hope this is all one unit we've been watching because it's all been this same exact title card. Unit 3, oh man, I gotta remember the units because we have done units before for Encyclopedia Britannica. So like, I wonder if we've done Unit 3 before. Like we must have, right? We've learned about animals through this company before. So I bet we've learned from Unit 3 as well. By the end of this channel, we will have gone through every single one of these programs, I hope. Or at least any that have been preserved. But also we have confirmation that it's color also, nice.
This film is about two species of tropical American ants, whose patterns of behavior have been evolving.
Oh, two species of tropical ants. Oh, something tells me we were going to watch a war take place. Oh, I didn't even think about that. I thought we were just going to be learning about social behavior, but I think we're going to see, yeah, social behavior, truly.
Evolving for more than 50 million years. They represent a highly advanced form of social behavior.
You know, that's so fascinating that we like recognized that back then, that this was a social behavior. Like, I guess, you know, there were still scientists and everything back then. It's just like, it's crazy how much we knew back then. Like we already had a perfect understanding of ants. Like we knew that this was a social society, really. Like it's interesting. It never fails to impress me how much we knew about this stuff all the way back then.
Knowledge of which contributes to our general theories of animal behavior.
What an interesting intro, like a very cold, dry narration intro, and then we get the title. Like, I don't know, I would have edited things a bit differently, but I guess that's just me. Army Ants, a study in social behavior, a fun little like font. I don't even know what the point of having the N and the S below the A and the T. Like, that's just a type choice, I guess, but that's funny, interesting. Again, a very good font for Army Ants, though. I feel like this is an Army Ant font. Based on research by T.C. Schneerle, the American Museum of Natural History. Interesting. So this is like one person's, I don't know if this is like their thesis or like their study, but like this is definitely, yeah, their work. So interesting. Shout out to T.C. Schneerle. I've never seen that last name before. That must be like German or something. But shout out to them. They are the ones responsible for the information that we are going to learn today. And that's funny because I was just commenting on like how impressive it was that whoever came up with this already knew that stuff. So it's probably this person we have to thank for like the advanced knowledge that we're about to receive. So yeah, shout out to T.C. Schneerle. All right, produced by Encyclopedia Britannica Films in collaboration with Ralph Bushbaum. Why do I recognize that name, Ralph Bushbaum? We've definitely seen Ralph Bushbaum before. University of Pittsburgh, yeah. Chief advisor for EBF Biology Film Series. Yeah, all right, yeah. Ralph Bushbaum is the name that has appeared on all of these so far. That's good. That's good that I recognized that. That means I have at least been paying a little attention to the credits.
How can we understand the organization of colony life in these ants?
Or how can we understand the organization of colony life in these ants? Are there any studiers of the English language that can tell me if that sentence makes sense or not?
The scientist's way is to make observations in the natural environment, to repeat an observation many times.
Well, I was not expecting this guy to just draw out a machete like that. That's funny.
And to conduct experimental tests in the field and in the laboratory under controlled conditions over a long period of time.
See, I do love the narration of these old programs. Like the fact that this guy is just like explaining to us like the scientific procedure that like all people follow. Like I appreciate it. I know that this is meant to be shown to kids in a classroom probably. So like I get that kids don't actually know everything that they're talking about. So I appreciate that they have to explain a lot in order for this to make sense to the people that it was intended to be shown to. But for me, because I do already know all that sort of stuff, like it's enjoyable to listen to. I don't know. Because I have to write stuff like this as well for Atlas Pro, I'm always listening to how they summarize information versus how I would summarize that same information.
Following an army ant column in the dim light and tangled growth of the forest is not an easy course, but it is the only way to find the home site, or bivouac, of the colony.
Bivouac, that's interesting. I wish I could see that word spelled out. You know, again, if this was an Atlas Pro video, that word would have appeared on screen with the typewriter sound effect, because I know nobody knows what that word is. Like, I don't know how it's spelled. I don't know what it looks like, but I like that we learned a new word. That's another good thing that I like from these old programs, is whenever I learn a new word. So is that what you call an ant colony, or like the ant main home colony, the bivouac?
Is not an easy.
I gotta listen to it again. I gotta hear it one more time.
But it is the only way to find the home site, or bivouac, of the colony.
The bivouac. That's so crazy. I've never heard that term. But okay, bivouac. We're gonna remember that, all right? That's gonna be on the test later, guys. The bivouac.
A colony consists of a queen and many thousands of workers.
All right, interesting. So this is the bivouac. That's cool. So, like, it's just a pile of ants. I would have thought it would have been like a hole in the ground, but no, it's just a straight mound of ants. That's crazy.
This golden yellow ant is the surface-adapted species Eciton hamatum.
Interesting. Surface adapted. So that's funny because I said I expected them in a hole, but apparently they're the surface adapted ant. Of course, you know? Oh, there we go. We got it in text. We got the species name in text. All right. I was about to say it again, but they listened to me. They actually listened to me and they gave it to us in text. I can barely read it based on what was behind the text, but we can still read it. So that's a win. All right. This will definitely, if they're showing it in text, this will definitely be on the test later. Let me try and say it. Eciton hamatum. Eciton, I didn't listen to him say it perfectly, so I'm going to go back and listen to how he said it, but I'm going to try to come up with my own pronunciation. So Eciton hamatum. Hamatum. Interesting. Let's see how he said it.
Ant is the surface-adapted species Eciton hamatum.
Eciton hamatum. All right, yeah, I was pretty close. I would have gotten there eventually, I think. Hamatum, yeah.
By clustering together, the workers form the walls and inner structure of the nest with their own bodies.
Hang on, so they are the nest. Like their bodies are the nest? What? I'm sorry, I don't understand. That's all I have to say. Let's keep watching.
No other materials are used except the natural supports to which they cling.
What are these natural supports, though? What am I looking at? You know, like it's so blurry that I can't even tell what I'm looking at here. But it's so fascinating at the same time.
Nearly all the ants hang head downward in the structure.
Hang head downwards? What are they hanging from? What? I'm sorry. I don't know. Let's just keep watching.
Opposed double hooks at the end of each leg enable the ants to hold on to different surfaces and to interlock their bodies.
So yeah, they're hanging onto each other, but they're making a nest out of their own bodies. I'm a little confused.
The bivouac, or temporary nest.
The bivouac, or the temporary nest. That's good to know, all right? That's a different term than what I thought he was referring to. I thought this was like the permanent home, but I guess the bivouac is the temporary ant home.
Is the place where the study of these insect colonies begins. From each
I've literally never seen an ant colony like this. Like, I've only seen ant holes. So this is just, the study for me has already began.
The colony carries out its great raid of the day and emigrates at night.
Oh, that's fascinating. All right, so the entire colony moves like every day. That's interesting. So they're going to launch a battle or a raid, as the narrator just said, and they're going to move so that they can't be followed and like attacked back. That's crazy. I hope that's the case. I really do. I really hope. I'm not that I'm hoping for war between these two clans of ants or anything, but like that's a very interesting story if that's the case.
How can activities so complexly organized and highly adaptive as these be accomplished by creatures as simple as army ants are in their individual behavior?
See, that is a very good question too. Like how do they act as one mind? You know, like that is the thing that really amazes me about ants, is that they all seem to know what they all want to do together. You know, it's so amazing. And they are such simple like animals on their own that it really does take the form of like one meta animal, this whole hive. It's crazy.
We will start our observations with the beginning of activities in early morning. When the first light reaches the bivouac wall, it stimulates and excites the ants.
I wonder if they react to carbon just like the fleas do, right? Why does the flea jump? This is definitely reminding me of why does the flea jump, just like this study, but let's keep going.
Once aroused, the workers begin to leave the cluster for the ground. This army ant colony is the species known as Eciton burchelli.
Eciton burchelli. All right, so this is a different type of army ant, but it looks like their bivouac is pretty much the same. I don't know if this is just like what all the ants here do, or if this is like just two specific types of ants. But, you know, again, I got to appreciate the text on the screen at least.
It, too, is adapted to live above ground.
It too. All right, so we have two above ground adapted ants. That's so funny that like that's just not what I was expecting at all.
This bivouac is about 1 meter in width.
A 1 meter long bivouac? That's crazy. How many ants? How many ants are in a 1 meter long bivouac? Like millions or like hundreds of thousands? Probably like a few 100,000, maybe 100,000.
In this observation, blowing on the bivouac wall excites and...
No way did I guess that, right? Because that's exactly what they did in Why Does the Flea Jump? They blew on the fleas to make them all come out of the thing because the carbon dioxide. So they're doing the same exact experiment that we learned from that as well. Oh, I'm so glad I called that out because that's so perfect. I love that.
The ants.
Yeah, it's the carbon dioxide that they're reacting to, just like the mites and the fleas. That's so funny. That's a pat on the back for me. That's calling something before it even had a right to be called.
Excites and agitates the ants. Wind or rain would have a similar effect, causing the bivouac to shift a little.
Dang, that's crazy seeing like the structure of the bivouac move. Like that's like, you know, hundreds if not thousands of ants all going in reaction in the same way. That's so nuts. This is really crazy.
Each morning, workers numbering some hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands. All right, so I was in the right ballpark, I'd say. Maybe there are 1 million ants in this. I don't know. Did this guy really count? That's the question, though.
Swarm from
did anyone actually count, or is this all an assumption?
As in this species, swarm from the bivouac to pillage for food on the forest floor. As their numbers increase on the ground...
Oh, I feel like this isn't related to this at all, but I feel like you guys will appreciate this. So I did go to the Galapagos a while ago now, obviously, and I got completely destroyed by the ants there. They completely ate one of my legs, and it's just, I'm having flashbacks to that now.
Ground. The ants are pushed ahead by the pressure of...
Like the ants in the Galapagos, their bites were so itchy too. Like it was like an ant bite I've never had before. Like I've been bitten by other groups of ants, but like not like the ones in the Galapagos. So I'm like worried about these ants. I'm trying to imagine what it would be like to like encounter these ants as a person in the rainforest. It must also be like miserable.
Those behind. The sounds you hear are those of ant birds. They eat insects stirred up by the foraging ants.
See, I was going to ask that too. How does the bivouac stay protected from animals? Because I feel like an anteater, I don't know if there are anteaters. No, this is probably Central America, so there probably aren't anteaters. But pretty much any animal is an anteater if you really think about it, right? Like a bird or even like a jaguar could just like take a bite out of that. Like I don't understand how that strategy is successful. It seems like they're defenseless, but I guess maybe every animal knows that biting an ant colony is like the worst idea ever.
Their calls are a useful clue for locating an ant swarm.
That's interesting. Yeah, the ant birds. You could just follow the ant birds to find the ants. That's funny. I guess, I guess that makes sense.
During the great exodus from the bivouac, at the beginning...
Oh, are we about to get an animation? This is about to be a lot of fun, I think. I see a lot of dots that have to be moved by hand each frame. That looks like fun.
At the beginning of the raid, the ants swarm out in all directions from the nest. Gradually, this...
Oh, dang. I really thought every single dot was going to move on its own, but it's a frame by frame. That's a lot less work, but I understand why they did it like that. This is a very interesting diagram, though, because, like, you really cannot understand what this is, even if you don't understand the context. Like, I could show anyone this, and they would have no idea that this is a map of an ant colony going through migration, like what an interesting thing we're looking at a diagram of.
Movement turns toward a dominant sector. Ants coming in from other areas move in columns and connect with the developing swarm.
It's so funny that it literally looks like a road, like a highway. Like it looks like these are cars. Like the ants look like cars and this looks like a road, and they all travel on logs instead of the leaves. It's so funny, and it's so interesting just how lively the rainforest is. Like how much actual life, animal life there is just everywhere on the forest floor.
As the ants move farther from the bivouac, the pattern of the raid takes a roughly triangular or fan-like form with only a single broad column connecting to the bivouac.
That's crazy. So theoretically, they could be like lost from their bivouac. Like if a big animal came by and like disturbed this little 1 ant long trail, maybe like they would all be lost. Maybe not. I don't know. They do navigate using pheromones, so maybe it would be easier to find. This is so crazy that what we're looking at. This is definitely the research part of this. Like I'm gonna guess that. Like what was their name? TC. Oh God, I can't I can't remember their last name, but yeah, whoever the researcher was, like these drawings must be their research or part of their research. Like I have to imagine, like these drawings are special, is all I'm trying to say. It's like this feels like true science research right here.
At the height of the raid, the ants in the swarm front may cover an area more than 15 meters wide.
Dude, the swarm front. Another word, another good, like, jewel of the English language. The swarm front. That's a good, especially in relation to ants, that's just a crazy term. The swarm front. Like, imagine a swarm coming at you like a storm.
And 1 to 2 meters deep. They stream along the ground, probing under every leaf and in every cranny for practically any living creatures.
It's funny how he used the word cranny, but not nook, just cranny. Like in 21st century English, you only say nook and cranny. You don't just say cranny. Like that's not a word in and of itself. Like I guess it is obviously, but like you don't just say in the crannies. Like that's not how we use that term anymore. That's a funny antiquated use of language as well.
Unless very agile, few soft-bodied insects escape the fast-moving ants.
Yeah, right? This is like a wave of terror for anything else that lives on the forest floor. Like, you better be able to fly, and you better notice quick, It really is amazing just how big of an animal the ants can take down when they work together as well. Like it really is like I think about ants as like human civilization scaled down. Like there are so many similarities between ant civilization and human civilization. Like when we all worked together, we hunted mammoths, you know? Like it's no different than these ants hunting a grasshopper. It's the study in social behavior. That's what it is. That's what makes ants so amazing, and that's why we're learning about this. I'm glad I just realized that. Like that's what makes ants and humans so similar is our social behavior, which is so crazy to say because ants and humans don't really have any comparable social behaviors besides when we act as like one meta organism, you know? That's crazy. Like you could argue that like human civilization acts pretty much identical to a bivouac. You know, like there's just so many comparisons to be made that I bet TC, Shine, whatever, definitely made those comparisons.
Few obstacles in the terrain stand in the way of their attack. They advance forest tangle.
We missed out on a little bit of audio right there. I don't know how much we lost, but it doesn't seem important.
To the topmost.
You know what? You guys probably get tired of me saying that, but I feel like I need to address every time information has been lost from the original program.
Even climbing to the topmost branches of trees, capturing their prey.
Dang, see, like, there's really nowhere safe to hide. Like, yeah, you can fly to a branch on a tree, but the ants will still find you there, too. Like, the ants... I would probably hate ants if I was any other animal in the rainforest. I think they're so fascinating from my perspective. But yeah, if I was a grasshopper, man, would I find these things annoying.
Whenever an insect, such as this katydid, is overrun...
Katydid, not a grasshopper. My mistake.
It is
I should have been able to get that, but I guess, you know, I wasn't paying that close of attention.
It is torn to pieces so that it can be easily carried.
Dude, that's so raw, too. Like, it's still alive and it's being eaten. That's like, ugh, like nature really is like that, dang.
By pulling together from all sides, the ants dismember their booty.
Again, I love that he used the term booty, but like, how crazy is it that all these ants know what to do? Like, each individual ant knows that they want to dismember this, you know, katydid. So they know some get on this side, some get on this side, and we'll both pull and we'll take their, you know, arms apart. How do they know what positions to take? It's so complex. I feel like even now we don't fully understand this.
They attack anything that moves. Under the weight of ants, most efforts to escape are futile. This large and predatory Ponarine ant will be fought, stung, and then taken apart limb by limb.
That's crazy. This just like doesn't even seem worth the effort, you know? I get the katydid. I bet there was tons of like nutrition or whatever on this. This is just another ant. Like you're not going to eat it. There's not much meat on it, you know, as far as ants go. So I don't know. I don't get like, it's just crazy. It's crazy that they are non-discriminatory. They will destroy literally any animal they can. It's just nuts. Again, another similarity between humans and ants right here. Like, humans would do the same exact thing, trust me.
The buzzing of flies of various species is another characteristic sound accompanying a swarm raid.
Dang, would ants go after a fly? I feel like they wouldn't bother. Like, it's just not worth it. But again, here they are going after another ant, so what do I know?
By mid-morning, the booty-laden ants crowd the principal trail.
The booty-laden ants. I don't know. I love the language, man.
As they move toward the bivouac. Parts of insects and other arthropods, such as eggs, larvas, and pupas of wasps and ants, are hauled along in the procession. How do the ants find their way with all the confusion that seems to exist in these masses of scurrying bodies?
Pheromones. I know it, how they do it. It's pheromones, okay? I want you guys to know that I knew it before getting told the answer. I want your guys' admiration.
There are no leaders, yet at the height of the raid, the ants may be out 90 meters or more from the bivouac. Here's a simple test that may give us a clue.
Oh, interesting. See, I like the tests. I feel like this is where the real understanding comes from. I wonder who's holding these tongs or these tweezers or whatever. Like, is this the science, the TC Shine whatever? Is that the person or is that the cameraman? You know, like who is doing this? I wonder.
Why do the ants stop short when the leaf is removed?
Oh, wow, that is fascinating. See, that was something I was talking about earlier, right? Like when they form that one really long path to get to wherever they're going, like who's to make sure something doesn't walk across their path and ruin it? And that's so amazing because I figured they would be able to smell their pheromone even across the length of a leaf. But I guess if you remove that leaf with the pheromone on it, they just immediately don't know where to go. That is really fascinating. That just shows you like how sensitive they are and like how precise their path is. You know, if they're following this line and they drew it on the leaf and the leaf is taken away, then they don't know where the path is. Like even just this little gap right here. Like you think, oh, maybe there's a drop of pheromone here and then a drop of it like a foot away. And they just keep following those drops. But no, it's clearly like a continuous path that they're following of smells. And we can see that through this example. That's very fascinating. Let's keep watching though. Yeah, like this had a pheromone bridge on it that wasn't there on the surface. That's just so nuts.
Why do they continue when it is returned?
That's just like, that's crazy how that's really all it takes to interrupt their path. I asked that earlier and I thought it would take more than just one leaf. That's really wild.
Doesn't the action indicate that perhaps this is an odor trail?
What's funny is that you can actually see ants going under the leaf as well. So so there's just some interesting stuff taking place here.
And that chemical products on the ground mark the way?
Like they're going under it. You can totally see them going under it as well. So I don't know what that's all about.
We will try a similar test.
Yeah, whose hand is this? Is this TC or is this the cameraman? Whose hand? You know, I always want to know this sort of stuff.
With the other ant species.
That's so funny. So he just like moved their road pretty much, right? So all the pheromone is still on this piece of bark or whatever, but now they have to go a different way. That's funny. So are they just going to get to the end of it and just not know where to go?
Again.
Oh yeah, wow, that's so funny. That's exactly what they're doing. That's like, I guess that makes sense. That's what they should be doing based on what we've learned. It's so funny. It's so amazing to see it happen in real time right before your eyes, you know? And again, you can't direct an ant to do something like that. Like they have to just do that on their own. So like it's all the more impressive that we just knew what to do to get ants to have this sort of behavior. It's impressive nature photography right here.
Behavior shows that a crucial stimulus has been removed. How can the trail be restored? From this and other experiments, we find that the excited ant leaves a chemical...
How can the trail be restored? Like, who actually lays the trail, right? Because it can't be every ant, because then there's just like 1,000 different pheromone paths going in every direction. So, like, who actually makes this path? Again, it's like the ant hive mind, just like, it makes no sense to me. Who is making decisions here, you know? Like, I feel like they're all being remote controlled by like the queen or something.
Trail on the ground over which it moves. Once this basic scent is laid down by the first ants that move into new ground, sensitivity to chemical stimulation permits others to follow.
So just the first ants lay down the chemical pathway, but like, so are all ants laying down pheromone paths all the time, or are they doing it on purpose specially? You know, I don't know.
Have a difficult time returning. If the ants are forced into moving on outlying trails, they often deposit their loads in booty caches.
Yeah, I should really stop laughing at him saying booty. It's just like, they don't have another term for it. Like, that's really the scientifically appropriate term for the things that the ants took. Like, should I come up with another term? What other word could he be using? Just like the, what is it? The spoils, the riches of war, like whatever else you want to call it. Just booty just feels just so silly in this context. Like the booty is just like a leaf, you know, like that's the booty, or the leaf. Or like the leg of a katydid. That's the booty, you know? Like booty has got to be like gold or something to me. Like not not like dismembered parts of insects. That's not booty.
These storage areas may contain as much as a gallon of slaughtered food.
A gallon of slaughtered food. What a bizarre unit for a bizarre thing. 1 metric gallon of slaughtered food. Like, dang. That's nuts.
Close in toward the bivouac, branching trails have disappeared, leaving only a principal trail.
Again, like, if they go on multiple directions, how do the guys on the other sides know to, like, come into the single trail when there's, like, a war taking place or something? It's just, like, it's so complex. What they have, what it seems like the ants have that's amazing is some form of communication. They have some form of, like, sharing intelligence. I don't know what it is. It might just be the pheromones, but, like, they clearly can tell each other something. Like, they clearly have a method of communication, which I know they communicate through pheromones, but it seems like they have more than that. They have this organization about them that just doesn't seem likely from just little tiny organisms, you know? It's so impressive.
Over this now heavily traveled and chemically saturated path,
Chemically saturated path, I like that.
laden workers bring food to the brood, queen, and other inhabitants of the colony. At times, returning traffic may be dominated by unladen ants. They have simply been moving back and forth, following the scent of others on the trail.
Yeah, like there must be so much confusion in one of these things, right? Like what pheromones do you even follow? Like who gives these ants their individual orders? Like does the ant just say, all right, it's morning, I'm going out and I'm following everyone? Like who, or does he get told by another ant, you know? Like what, I know that sounds crazy, obviously. It's just like what actually motivates all of these actions, you know? Like all of these individual thousands, hundreds of thousands of individual actions that are all with the same purpose in mind. It's just incredible.
This colony is in the statory, or non-migratory phase of its nomadic existence.
Statory or non-migratory. I'm pretty sure he tried to say stationary. I imagine that's the word that they should have used.
During this phase, which lasts about 3 weeks, it remains clustered in the same sheltered site while maturing a pupal brood and undergoing early reproductive stages of a new brood.
See, this is just nuts. It's just a nest of ants. Like there's no actual nest. It's just all ants. Like that's like that's crazy, right? Like there's just layers upon layers of ants that you can climb through. This is so nuts. This is such a bizarre way to live. This, if anything, this is an orgy. I know that's not going to make sense to anyone watching this, but if you watched yesterday's or 2 days ago's video, then this is definitely more of an orgy. And I'm allowed to say it because they say it in these old programs. This is an orgy for sure.
What is the nature of the population living in this bivouac?
Dang, I'm actually so glad somebody started poking this thing because that's exactly what I would have done too. Like, what's actually inside? And I'm glad what we're getting to see. It is just more ants. It's just a solid mass of ants. I'm so fascinated by these bivouacs now. It's just like a self-repairing like thing too. It's so nuts. Oh my God, this is so crazy.
To find out, we will take a sample for later study in the laboratory.
Okay, so this is probably TC. This is the guy. I have to imagine. I can't imagine this is the cameraman doing this. Like, this is the researcher. That's cool. I always appreciate getting to actually see the people who contributed to what we're watching. I don't know. I feel like this is a better way of appreciating this guy's work, is to actually get to see him.
Swirling the bag rolls the ants into a ball,
Okay.
which can be poured into an observational frame. One important section of the population is the brood. It is present in any functional colony.
Oh, that's crazy. So he took a sample of the ant colony, the bivouac, and he just is creating his own little, like, I guess, ant colony to see what they do. That's probably some pretty interesting stuff to be learned from doing this.
Here is a small part of a brood in the pupal stage, attended by workers. In each colony, there is one fertile queen, who is the source of the immense brood.
So this is the organism that gave birth to this entire hive pretty much. Like this is the queen, you know? Like this really does just lay eggs like every second pretty much just so that they can survive. That's crazy. This form of life like that bees and ants have with like a hive and a queen is just like the craziest like organization of life if you ask me. Like the fact that there's just one individual giving birth like thousands of times a day. I don't know, it's so hard to even fathom, really.
Depending on the species, she may lay 60,000 to 200,000 eggs in each reproductive period.
Dang, how long does a reproductive period last? That's what I'm about to ask. Or that's what I did ask, I guess.
All workers are infertile females, and all are polymorphic. That is, they differ in both size and form. In this species, they range from 3 millimeters to 13.5 millimeters in length.
Is this their growth, or is there like a spectrum of different like occupations an ant can have in this colony? You know, like is each one of these a different like specialized task? I have to imagine this is just how they grow, but I don't know.
Majors are the largest workers. Intermediate workers.
Oh, interesting. So there are like different group sizes. So it's not a full spectrum, but there are like intermediates, majors. Wow, that's interesting.
Are the most numerous.
That is like, oh man, I feel like I'm learning so much about ants now. Dang, they're twitching. These are all like dead, but just barely. That's crazy. That's like, that's kind of sad. Like, I don't really like looking at dead animals. Even dead ants is like, I don't want to say they're worthless, but they're just ants, all right? They're not like real, like amazing thinking animals or anything. But it's also like, it still does feel cruel just to see their like dead legs twitching. Like, you couldn't have like really killed them, you know?
They do the largest part of the effective rating. Minims, the smallest worker.
Minims? That's funny. That's I guess another word that I've never heard before. Minims.
Workers spend most of their time tending the small brood within the bivouac.
Like, do we really need this dead twitching ant? Like, it's freaking me out a little, to be honest. I must look like such a softie to some of you guys for like how little I like watching animals suffer, but I just sometimes, I don't know, it gets me sometimes. That's all I gotta say. I get it. I get that I look like such a wimp sometimes, but you know what? I have empathy for these animals.
Size appears to depend upon the order in which the eggs are hatched and the amount of food which larvae receive.
Dang, hang on. So you can actually make out the majors and I guess the rest. I feel like I can't really tell the interims or the intermediates from the minims, but you can definitely tell which ants are the biggest ones.
The first larvae to begin feeding receive...
Like this one up here, that's totally a major, but then these are probably mostly intermediates, maybe a few minims though. But is that like a stage of growth, or is that like a different body type? Like, are you going to be a minim like your whole life, or are you going to graduate into an intermediate and then you'll maybe molt your skin or something? I don't know what ants do, but molt your shell, I guess, your exoskeleton, and then become an intermediate and a major? Or are you born as a minim and that's all you're ever going to be for your whole life? I don't know.
To be majors. They are characterized by their enormous heads and large sickle-shaped mandibles. These needle-sharp jaws, together with potent...
Those are crazy jaws. Those are like pretty huge too.
...sting, are enough to keep most intruders away.
I wonder if that hurts like a human to be bitten. Like, could it bite me and would it hurt? Like, are there any Central Americans who deal with these ants who know the ones that hurt and the ones that don't?
Minims, the last to hatch, are fed the least amount of food.
Interesting. So yeah, it seems like these are actually like decided roles. They don't graduate into becoming other bigger ants. Like they are born as minims or they are born as majors. That's interesting. So is the mother giving birth to 3 different types of eggs, or is it determined in gestation? What determines that? Like, how can something give birth to different sorts of eggs? I don't know. This is so crazy.
The statory phase of colony behavior ends.
Or does it just depend on like how long you're in your egg? You know, like if you hatch early, you're a minim. If you stay in later, you're a major. Like there are so many different things that could determine this that I wish they would tell me.
When a brood of new young workers emerges from the cocoons. Now the nomadic phase begins.
Oh, this is going to be cool, I think. We're going to see the whole tribe move. That's awesome.
With daytime raids ending in nighttime emigrations to new nesting sites. Photography was possible only with battery-powered lights.
See, I love that they're telling us how they actually accomplished the photography, because I bet I was going to say, wait, how don't they do this at night? How are their lights? You know, like I bet I was right on the cusp of asking that question, but now they're explaining it to us so I don't have to. But I love getting to see the technique and how they actually get these shots. Like that's part of the value of these programs for me, is learning how to make educational programs like they used to.
In late afternoon, exodus from the bivouac begins.
Bivouac. Can I try to spell bivouac? Is it B-I-B-O-W-A-C-K, bivouac? Or am I... that's my brain spelling of bivouac. That's how I'm seeing it every time I say it in my head.
As the excitement mounts, ants hooked into the bivouac wall are released by the departure of other ants. As the cluster gradually breaks down, they pour from the nest, and emigration begins over a raiding trail developed during the day.
But again, who decides that they're immigrating? Like, is it the queen? Does the queen do something and everyone lets go and then moves the bivouac? Like, how do hundreds of thousands of ants act in concert with one another to do something that they weren't doing a second ago? It's just, I don't understand it. Again, it seems like they're communicating. Like, if they were capable of just speaking language like humans do, I would understand. I would perfectly understand how they're capable of doing this. But without that, I don't know how they communicate all this stuff to each other. Like, okay, we're moving the bivouac today. Like, how do you tell them? Like, I guess you release a pheromone, but like, what ant releases the pheromone? Like, who makes that decision to move the entire colony? It must be the queen, right?
Late raiders returning to the bivouac are forced to change direction by the outgoing rush of traffic. These emigrants are moving their own larvae together with booty.
See, not only does a bivouac seem incredibly vulnerable to animals, but this, like the moving of the bivouac, seems even more vulnerable. Like, I feel like you could just post up right here and just, like, you know, open your mouth and let them walk in, you know? Like, if you're into that sort of thing. If you like eating ants, you know, if you're an animal like that. I don't get how this resource is not being taken advantage of by other animals in the forest. Like, I know there are other animals that do eat ants. It's just incredible that they manage to exist in this number when, like, there should be something specialized to eat them by this point. I guess the anteaters, but I don't think they're in these forests.
During most of the year, successive broods contain only developing workers.
I'm pretty sure anteaters are specifically from South America. They could be into Central America, but I don't think so.
The ants carry the larvae and booty in their jaws, slung under their bodies. Size of the workers roughly determines the size of the loads they carry, except that majors never seem to carry anything.
Like, it really looks like a liquid, too. Like, they do act, like, it's crazy the physical form that this colony of ants takes, or this swarm. Like, it's just so bizarre.
Except that majors never seem to carry anything.
That's really funny. The majors, I guess the majors are like the soldiers of this society. They just protect everyone, probably. And then the intermediates are the actual drone workers. That probably makes sense.
They often appear to get in the way of others. At the beginning of the dry season, a bisexual brood of a great many males.
A bisexual brood. I like that. I was not expecting that terminology, especially in this program meant for school children. But let's learn how this brood can even be bisexual, shall we?
Males and a few young queens develops.
Oh, that's interesting. Wow, a few young queens. I thought there would have been just one for brood or whatever, one for bivouac.
Here the workers are carrying the very large male larvae of the sexual brood.
Large male larvae of the sexual brood. So what are the males then? Are the males just the ants that cling to the queen and they like never leave the queen's side? So this is like the new males being bored of the brood? This is there's so much culture here that I don't quite understand.
In rough sections of the trail, the column crosses on bridges made up of the bodies of clustered workers.
Again, who decides that you're the ant that makes the bridge instead of the ant that it gets to go to the new home? You know, like I have to imagine somebody has to tell some ant. There's no way they're just acting out of the goodness of their hearts, you know? Like there has to be an order to tell them to stay here and let us walk over you, you know? Like how do they know to do everything? And like why do they even need this bridge of ants? Like there's the forest floor that they can walk on just fine. I feel like.
The large ants running in the column are winged males.
Winged males. I love how he said winged males, but that's funny too. So winged males. This is such a complicated. The fact that this is all one species. There's a queen, there's winged males, and then there's like at least three categories of different females. And they're all born from different eggs. That's crazy.
Development of a sexual brood of new queens and winged males leads to a splitting of the colony into two new ones, an important part of population control in army ants.
That is interesting. It's funny how they I don't know if they got lost, how they get split up. It's just like, if you laid that many eggs, that should have been enough for one colony, but I guess they became two. I didn't think there would be enough female queens to start two colonies. Like, does the queen decide what types of eggs she lays? Probably not, right? Like, I just don't get it. I just don't get how this much organization can come out of this simple of an animal, you know?
This emigration will be complete only when the entire colony is settled in a new place.
You know, it's really funny that the winged males are flying. Like, I guess that's the only way they can navigate the pheromone trail, but it's just like, they can fly. They don't have to walk, but they still have to follow the trail. It's just like, they could fly and follow the trail from the air, but like, I don't know. I'm thinking of it like a human. Like, I don't want to walk in this path with all these other ants, you know, but I have to imagine for them, it's not that bad.
These ants are entering and adding to the structure of the new bivouac. Nomadic bivouacs are not sheltered, but are usually out in the open. In the nomadic phase, emigration such as this go on every night for more than 2 weeks.
Dang, every night they move their bivouac. That's crazy. I feel like that just opens up the opportunities for things to find them even more, you know? Like, I just feel like that's more vulnerable than staying in one spot. Again, this is all so much more vulnerable than just making your nest underground, but I guess that's out of the question.
Usually, before midnight, a change in the character of the moving column indicates passage of the queen and her party. She moves slowly, under her own power, through the masses of workers that surge over and around her.
That's interesting too, that she's like, no, I'll do it myself. I'll walk. Like, there's clearly enough ants here to carry her. So it's interesting that the queen will still walk by herself. That's very interesting. Again, like, there must be a reason. There must be like thoughts that happen in their heads to understand why. Like, I don't know. I hate giving ants such like sentience, but like it feels like they have it sometimes. It feels like the hive or the colony has sentience. It doesn't feel like any individual ant is sentient, but they all together feel like a sentient being.
But why do the workers respond so excitedly to her presence?
I love this circle in the black that we can't see. There's just nothing there. Great. I'm glad to know there's something there.
Is this a chemical effect also?
I wonder if you could have originally seen this on like the film and it's just the preservation that's making it hard to see, but I cannot see anything there. I'm looking. That's the only spot I'm looking.
Let's try another laboratory test.
Sometimes I think it's like the lights that I have blasting me in the eyes that I can't see anything on screen. But no, I'm pretty sure there was nothing there to be seen.
In this frame, 2 circular areas have been marked. A queen has been resting on one of these areas for 1 hour. The other is our control.
See, that's a very interesting experiment. Even to just come up with like the outline of this experiment, like we're gonna put a queen on a circle for an hour and then we're going to bring in other ants and see which one they like prefer. That's a very science experimenty thing to do. I don't know. This feels like the thing you would do in like high school science class.
Now we remove the queen and her confining cover. Opening the closed tube-like tunnel, permits the ants to enter.
Oh, wow, that is exactly what they're doing. They're just letting ants in and seeing which circle they go to. That's funny. Yeah, I'm gonna guess they're gonna go to the circle that had the queen in it. That's that's my assumption.
Ants to enter. Within a short period of time, it is clear that the workers are strongly attracted to their queen's odor.
That makes sense. I don't really even know if we needed to do this experiment to find that out. I feel like I could have told you that.
In this test, note how the workers follow the queen in a circular column, and how the queen responds to the chemical trail much as does a worker.
So hang on. So she is following her own smell, which she made by going in a circle by following her own smell. So I don't know. That's that's funny, I guess. I've heard of those rings of ants that just like get, isolated from the rest of the ants and they just walk in a circle until they die. I feel like that's what they're suggesting here.
Now, we will return a queen to the natural environment by releasing her close to a raiding column of her colony. Slowly, a few workers are attracted to her odor.
See, I wish we got to see like more of that because I do want to see like what the ants even do, like how they react to a queen, Like it's so interesting. It's like the social hierarchy that exists within ant colonies is just so bizarre, like how they value the queen so much. It's so interesting. I swear to God, whenever we find aliens out in outer space, like they're going to have this form of organization. This is like the Borg assimilate sort of strategy right here. It's just like total numbers, complete drones, no thoughts for themselves, but like worships the queen. Mark my words, that's what the aliens who invade Earth are going to be like as well. I feel like that's already, in movies at least, been the case, right?
The many that follow and cluster over her indicate that the queen's odor is a central factor in colony unity. If the queen had not been returned, brood development, and consequently the nomadic function of the colony, would end.
So did they take the one queen or were there other queens? Because that's kind of crazy if you take the one queen of the colony and just left all these other ants with like nothing to do, no purpose in life anymore, really.
Without a queen, the colony can survive only by fusion with another colony of the same species.
That would be very interesting to learn or to see, right? To see two ant colonies become one, to unite, like you can actually use that term in this context. That's so funny.
These scenes of army ants in action illustrate how methods of field and laboratory research have been used to study problems of insect social behavior. Research on the swarm raids, for example, reveals how complex mass actions are organized through group interactions of relatively simple individuals.
See, that's what I'm saying. Is like, how are these huge actions taken by, thousands of ants organized by any group of other ants? It's wild. I don't know. That was a very good statement for what I've been hitting at, though.
Perhaps the most remarkable finding about tropical army ants concerns the nomadic statory cycles shown by species adapted to surface life.
Dang, I really thought we were going to watch two ant colonies go to war. Like, they introduced us to those two different surface ants, and I really thought they were going to combine at some point, but I guess not. That's fine. I didn't really want to see a war take place, but I was curious.
A colony is nomadic when it is stimulated to a high pitch by its active brood in the larval condition. It is statory in the intervening time when the brood...
Statory, is that what people used to say instead of stationary? Statory? Like, that keeps triggering my ears, man. I get why we've changed words. That's another interesting preservation of language in a program like this. Statory.
Brood is in its pupal stage. As brood follows brood through the year, each colony passes through these successive cycles.
That is so crazy. They're just hanging on to one another. Like they're just building a structure off of their bodies hanging onto each other. Like that's just, this is such a nuts thing.
There are other kinds of army ants whose patterns of life are not as well known as those you have seen. Many species, which nest underground, as does Lepidus praetor, important behavioral problems for future investigation.
That's so funny how this random other ant species got a name drop, even though we're like 15 seconds from being done with the program. Like, I don't think we're learning any more about it today. Yeah, cut to black. Like, that's, oh, why did we even get that term, you know? All right, well, that was Army Ants, A Study in Social Behavior. John Walker, producer. David Harvey, editor. Norman Platt, art director. Good for these guys. Shout outs for sure. Anything else? Nope, just scrap film. That's the end of Army Ants. This was a very fascinating watch. Again, like I know you guys must get tired of me saying that, but this really was exactly what I wanted and then some. Getting to see the diagrams of these ants moving, like that was pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with that, but just like the footage, right? Just every single shot is just like a perfect exemplification of what they're trying to teach us. This is just like top tier educational content right here. Like there is no better video on YouTube explaining army ants and their social behavior than this. This is 18 minutes long. I thought this was like 10 minutes long, but I guess like even still, this is probably the best 18 minutes on army ants you will find on YouTube. Obviously, this video is going to be a little longer with my commentary, but like the actual program is educationally better than anything else you would have found on YouTube, or at least that's how I feel. What I find really funny about this sort of stuff is like I felt like I knew a lot about ants going into this. Like I have watched a lot of very similar programs on, you know, ants going to war with one another and everything. Like I've seen a lot of ant content in my life and I've still was learning new stuff like the bivouac, like a new term, you know, like I definitely learned more about ants from this than I knew previously, despite already having some base information on them. So I do appreciate that. I appreciate every time I'm able to learn something new from something this old. That's just like, that's what I do this for, really. So thank you. Thank you, Army Ants, for teaching me about the bivouac. I hope you all feel the same way as well. I hope you all learned something new as well. And if you did and you enjoyed watching and you would like to help support this channel, you can follow the link in the description that'll take you over to the Internet Archive. The Internet Archive is where I get all these old programs from. So if you want to support me, donate to them. And with that, I think we are ready to cut to black.